Hello everybody, my name is Kingjakyl. We're going to take a deep dive into one of my favorite games in recent times, Titanfall 2. This game is an absolute masterclass in an overarching game design that sucks you in with fluid, fast-paced parkour-like movement, which sucker punches you into a state of awareness. As the game throws you for a loop, and before you know it, you're going at the speed of Mach Jesus and outmaneuvering your opponents. Titanfall 2 is an important game that I think everybody should pick up and play, at least once. It's at the healthiest I've seen the game as Respawn has fixed the servers, and has made the game more playable now more than ever. Last I checked, there was 20,000 active players on Steam right now. But let's get into why you, the viewer, clicked on my video. This game does one thing very well. It puts the player's experience first above everything else. There's very little in the ways of microtransactions being shoved into your face the moment you boot the game, like what Call of Duty does recently. Titanfall 2 also has one of the best ever written game introductions I think I've seen for any campaign ever. And it immerses you into what the story is just enough to get your attention, only for you to pick it up and play it. Go ahead, check this out.
Of all the things I've seen on the battlefields of the frontier, the pilot is the true dominant force. Fast and agile. Graceful, yet devastating. Perceptive. Resourceful. And relentless. A pilot sees the world differently. Sheer walls become flanking routes. Pilots fight differently. Experienced in deception and maneuver, even overwhelming odds shift in their favor. But what truly separates the pilot from all the grunts and machines of the battlefield is the bond between a pilot and a Titan. When linked to a Titan, a pilot can only be stopped by overwhelming force, or an equal. The frontier has been the only home I've ever known. For years, our lands have been destroyed by the IMC, forcefully taking our resources, polluting and destroying our planets, and killing us off if we try to resist. Despite recent victories at Demeter and beyond, we have a long way to go before the IMC is defeated. Now, I serve as a rifleman in the militia, fighting to free the frontier. I'm a long way from becoming a pilot. But when that day comes, I hope I can live up to the honor.
At the start of the campaign, you take control of Jack Cooper, a rifleman in the Frontier Militia, and you drop feet first into hell with all your other ODST brothers. Shit. Wrong game. I mean, you drop into combat playing Black Ops 2 Simulator, and only to find out in just a short amount of time that you are not cut out for this kind of a war. Don't worry, though. You get introduced to this story's Disney cliché villains, who happen to be cartoonishly evil as they ambush your whole squad. These assholes are known as the Apex Predators, a ragtag group of the best whose sole purpose in life is to make you cringe and make you dead. But after they take out your friend Lastimosa, they more or less introduce themselves for the bad guys they are, and then you pass out.
18 hours until the Ark is sealed and ready for delivery. Oi, Richter! Leave the corpses alone, you sick bastard. We've got a job to do, eh? We make corpses, we don't clean them up. Let's go!
BT, transfer authorization to new pilot. Link, Bravo Tango 7274. Cooper, take my Titan. Use my helmet and my jump kit. This is the real thing. Take care of him.
Well, you made it this far into the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and please leave a like, as it allows me to stay on the platform and keep making content for you guys. When you wake up, you are handed the responsibility of being a pilot by Lastimosa, and the care of BT-7274, which, later on throughout the campaign, becomes the best ever written bromance through any game I've ever seen. Your first mission is where you have to gather batteries and use everything that you've learned from running the gauntlet earlier, and you put it all into action while evading capture and putting your movement stills to the test. You eventually get to take control of BT, and another short tutorial on how to fight as a Titan. The game does things very well in the ways of slowly introducing core elements of the game, one piece at a time. And the campaign also does a really good job of introducing set pieces to the player in a way that not only makes sense, but flows so well. The campaign is rather quick, but it's long enough for players to feel satisfied in how things are presented. My two favorite campaign missions are, first, the one where you run through the factory, making a simulation environment that you eventually have to fight in, and the mission where you happen to loop through time. Both are a magnificent example on how a level should be designed, both in giving the player ample freedom and an interesting set piece for them to play through, and it keeps them engaged and invested. I'm not going to run through every mission, as I do believe you should pick up the game and play them for yourself, as the campaign is best played through blind. The first of two I have mentioned, though. You start out by entering the factory and you clear a couple of rooms, only for BT to get captured. Then you have to go through the factory riding on all these moving platforms as the arena they are building is being developed, clearing every platform along the way full of IMC security forces that then lead you into fighting to the arena topside. Once you're there, you get introduced to a new unit, the Reapers, and you have to learn how to destroy them. Eventually, you escape the facility, meet back up with BT, and fight one of the Apex Predators. Later on, you do escape the facility. The next mission, being my most favorite, I'm only going to tease you just a tad bit.
You're forgetting.
What just happened?
There are distortions throughout this facility, and they appear to be causing a rift in time. I advise caution until we have further
Now just
information.
go play this game. But one of the other things that I have to also mention with Titanfall's history as of recent, it is a game that's been out since 2016. But there's some pretty dark history surrounding it. First of all, it really wasn't all filled with sunshines and rainbows. I'm going to have to talk about one of the situations that almost completely murdered the game. That one particular asshole hacker, whose problem that he caused almost completely murdered the game. It was so bad to the point that the community, which got tired of not being able to play the game they loved, created a solution in the way of the North Star client, which is for PC only. Respawn Entertainment has recently patched the game, making it playable once again, and the multiplayer is working better than ever. You'll still be able to get into very fast-paced games, which happen to be tight, smooth, and well done. And the balance is just masterful. It's full of chaotic fun. You still have a lot of your standard modes, however, in the forms of attrition and bounty hunt, which are my personal favorites. Then you have other game modes like Last Titan Standing or Capture the Flag, with several others. You have a full game browser that is full of active players. Among other things I do want to also mention about the multiplayer is the brutal learning curve that you're obviously going to encounter when you first play it. This is not a game that's been fresh off the presses. Like I said, the game's been around since 2016. So there's going to be players that have been around for that entire time that have learned the game tech, that have learned all the mechanics, and have learned how to outmaneuver every player. Do not give up and do not be discouraged by the fact that they're just going to be obviously better than you. It's part of what's making the game what it is. But at the same time, do not erroneously believe that they are cheating, like what had actually happened before, causing the cheats and hacks that actually started in the first place, which shut down the game. That's what happens when you deal with a very salty player who doesn't understand that everything that he's experiencing in the game is simply because he was bad at the game. I'm not going to get all that much into what caused all the hacks, why the hacks were so bad, and everything else. There are other people that have done it just better than I have, trust me. But honestly, I have to say this. The gameplay, even though there is a brutal skill gap, there is enough of a space and dampener between you and those pros that you can still make a decent impact in matches, which is why I tend to stay towards games like Attrition and Bounty Hunt, because not only am I playing against another player, which is obviously going to kick my ass into next Thursday, I'm also dealing with bots in the ways of grunts and reapers and all those other minion type players, or well, and all those minion types that you're going to fight along the way. And it makes it fun for me to be able to pick it up and play. You're also going to be getting into certain game types to where it's Titans only, where you just spawn on your Titan and you try to out Titan the other Titans. Kind of. But I don't necessarily tend to play those games as much, as I don't seem to have as much fun with them as I do with game modes like Attrition, where you start out as a pilot. And I have a lot of fun with it because not only do you get to run around as a pilot, you do eventually get to earn your Titan, and you get to run around in your Titan, which, for me, makes it incredibly fun. There's a fantastic blend of gameplays, and the balancing just works. When you're in a Titan, you feel like this unholy killing machine that allows you to dominate a match and with what you actually have given to you. At the same time, when you're as a pilot, you're not totally SOL, as you do actually have access to anti-Titan weapons and are able to fight back against Titans fairly competently. You have a variety of Titans you can choose from, all with ranging ability, all with ranging abilities to be able to do well on the battlefield. My personal favorite, as you can kind of already tell, yes, I am a tone-maining scumbag. Why? Because I like the gameplay loop, and because it's easier for me to pick up and learn. Not to say that I can't pick up and learn on any of the other Titans, but I have no desire to play Ronin, I have no desire to play Northstar. Scorch is kind of fun, but it's more of a meme than it is actually a serious Titan. Legion can be fun on some maps, especially with a lot more of your tighter corridor maps, as you actually have the health to be able to deal with other Titans fairly comfortably. And then on top of that, you also have Tone, which is my personal favorite. You have Ion, which is another Titan that is well known to be the scourge of players everywhere. And then you also have Monarch, which is more close in design to what you see with BT-7274 from the campaign. Except you have a whole host of different abilities that allows you the flexibility and the ability to grow into an absolute menace and monster. Now keep in mind, you also have a lot of other abilities as a pilot as well. You're still an unstoppable badass and are able to actually go around in most battlefield scenarios, picking up kills and taking out, minions and other players as much as you possibly can. Mind you, you're in this fun environment that allows you to completely dominate, but at the same time, everything that happens in the environment, you have total control over. If there's any mistakes that are made, guess what? It was your fault. It wasn't because of some random bullshit. It might seem like that on the surface, it might appear that way overall, but trust me, with the way the balancing works, if you die, it was your fault to begin with. Either you overexposed yourself or you put yourself in a situation you should not have been in the first place, which shows the true mark of good balance and good game design. The multiplayer is extremely addictive. I've sunk hundreds of hours into it over time. Mind you, I've taken breaks here and there as other games have released, and I've just wanted to sit down and play them. But once I heard that Titanfall was actually back online and with full servers, guess what I did? I went back to it, and I'll be honest with you, I'm glad I did. There's not really a whole lot more that I can really cover to really convince you to actually pick up this game for yourself. Realistically, you're missing out if you don't. Personally, I believe that everybody should actually pick up a controller or get on a keyboard and mouse and just learn to play the game and learn all the movement tech that comes with it. You have a great variety of movement in ways of wall running. You actually have skill movement systems like your B hopping, your slide hopping, and everything because this game was designed on Source Engine. And also in being designed on Source Engine, it also comes with a lot of the movement tech that comes from playing in that engine. You have a lot of that tech that you actually have at your disposal, as well as others that is very well tightly packed, very well designed. You have a variety of weapons that you have at your disposal that you can choose from to play as any pilot that you want with any ability for your pilots that you actually have full access to. All put together very well, all put together in such a way that is very tight, very fluid, and very accessible for every player. There's a lot that you have access to that I believe that everybody should at least try and experiment with at least once. Yes, you're going to get into those lobbies to where you're going to face nothing but sweats, but I promise you, it'll be worth it once you get into some other more lax games. It's going to happen. It's going to happen in every game. A lot of what's going on with gaming nowadays has come down to the fact that everybody wants to play competitively. This is one of those few games that I can sit down and play and not really give a rat's ass as to whether or not I do well. Like I said before, I'm always left with a smile on my face afterwards, irregardless of whether or not I won or lost. There's always going to be fun to had. There's a lot of things that you can do, and there's a good community out there. You just have to find your community and play. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Guy that's been watching this video all the way to the end. First of all, you, sir, or ma'am, or whatever, you're awesome. So, quit missing out on all my content, guys. Please subscribe down below and hit the bell icon. Also, leave a like if this content actually made you smile or if you enjoyed the content at all. Also, please comment down below what you guys think about this game or what kind of content you guys want to see from here on out in the future. Also, check this video down here in the corner. You might enjoy it. As always, you guys are awesome. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day.